And absolute power corrupts absolutely. Now, coming to the sales tax, I've only touched one amendment which has been brought in. The proposed amendment of this section under sales tax seeks that where goods are sold to unregistered person, the sales tax invoice should bear NTN or CNIC number. The purported objective behind the amendment is to broaden the tax net. The amendment is aimed at the businesses and industrial community to act as agents for the board. It does not fall under the norms of business. It is not for the businesses to be carrying out the job of the board. The government must recognize the ground realities. And what are the ground realities? We have failed to bring the VAT mode of sales tax on the retail stage. We have failed to have the sales tax implemented on every sphere of life. If we have failed to do that, how on earth, if somebody comes, if I'm an exporter with my industry, I have to sell the rejects, cut pieces, B grades, and so many other things, scrapes. When I tell him that when you have come to buy this, give me your NTN card, NTN number. He said, I'm giving you cash. I said, okay, you don't have NTN number, give me CNIC card. He said, I'm giving you cash. I said, I don't need cash. You give me these first, the ID card. He said, okay, you keep your goods with you, I'll buy it from someone else. Would that be a proper position? This is NIC card, and then fake NIC card and NIC cards of NWFP and lot will come in. The problem with our system is that we collect too much data, but we do not utilize that data. You know what happened in the Shaukat Aziz period when they carried out a survey with the military in between. What happened to that survey? Where are those survey forms? Were they able to enhance the tax base? No. So the problem is that we should have minimum data collected and maximum utilization of that data. That is the requirement. And with these, I really want to say that whatever steps have been taken, we have been agitating with the government. We have been telling the government that our cost of manufacturing has gone too high compared to our regional competitors. Now, there are problems which I believe that there are 6 factors of cost. First is the financial charge. In spite of KIBOR going down to 11, 13, still the financial cost remains high at 17, 16, 17%. Then inflation, they told us that it will be brought to single digit whenever it comes. Today also it has gone down to 16%, 17%. Why the financial cost is not being brought down? The second is infrastructure, that is gas and electricity. Now let me share with you that what is the tariff of the gas. Why the industry is suffering. This is not the occasion. A two-liner I will take, that our gas tariff is directly connected with the world crude oil prices under a formula called WACOG, weighted average cost of gas. And that weighted cost of average gas is the formula by the government of Pakistan. We have not made that formula. We are not a party to it, although we challenge that formula. But once we accept, okay, this is the formula, then they increased 31% gas tariff only a year ago, saying that the oil prices have gone from $63 to $123. We said, okay, fine. We said in oil, everything was fine. Now from 123, it went to 143, and then it came down to $33. So whatever the mean is, they said it's $68. We said, okay, $68. Now when recalculating, the downward revisions comes to only 12%. All chartered accountants sitting here, can anybody understand this phenomena, what it is all about? So how can you make money on infrastructure? How can you have a GDS, gas development surcharge, to the tune of 10, 12, 13 billion rupees? You can't do this. Over and above, they have also a problem of cross subsidy. They are giving gas to fertilizer sector, all with good intention. I believe governments, welfare governments should do this because they give us food, the growers. And if they are giving urea at a lower price, it's a good thing. But at a 10% price, the 4G fertilizer has a price tag of 36 rupees 37 paisa, and industry is subjected to 323 rupees for the same volume of gas. Is this, if they are giving it, they should take out from their own coffers and giving it. If you owe me, I will pay it to you. I will not ask Razak Bhai to give it to you. No, I will have to pay it. Now what they are doing is, they are cross-subsidizing it. And the burden is coming on the industry. 19 to 20% tariff can go down if the cross subsidy burden, which is now 40 to 50 billion rupees, is borne by the government of Pakistan, which is their responsibility. They're not doing it. And on the other hand, this is the cost of doing business. Electricity, the subsidy is being called for and it is being phased out, which I have just said. The electricity subsidy, which is 40%, this year they have decided to shade it by 40%. What it will result into? It will result into an increase of rupees 3 per kilowatt hour. And today's rate of 6.5 of the industry, that means 33% increase. Are we towards industrialization? Are we towards reducing the cost of business in this country or increasing the business into this country? I fail to understand. Now, this subsidy, where theft is 38% in the system, that means you are penalizing the honest consumers for the dishonesty of the others by not giving the subsidy, enhancing the tariff of the electricity, making the industries, those who pay their due consumption honestly, they cannot compete, not locally, not internationally. So what we are up to, what we really want to do, we fail to understand. On the one hand, we are saying that cost of doing business is very high. These are the words, quoted, unquoted, in inverted commas, of the advisor finance, Mr. Shaukat Tareen, yes, our industry is burdened with too many taxes. And the cost of doing business in this country has gone very high vis-a-vis the regional competitors. Inverted comma, quote unquote. This is what he said with our meeting. Now, all these steps which are suggested in this budget, they do not show us that kind of a path. I believe that whatever has happened, this has happened only because they wanted to collect that amount of 1400. Now, they were not allowed to expend the tax net. So what they can do, they brought those kind of policies, no matter industry runs or closes down, no matter the negative growth is there or positive growth is there, no matter exports go or not, but that amount of tax they wanted to collect. There are only two ways in the world which are known to me. One is to increase your tax base, broaden your tax net, bring more sectors into the tax, and then it's a win-win situation. Everybody who's paying tax also feels the lesser burden on it, lesser pressure of the tax collectors on him, and everybody pays its part, and in the end they call it they live happily ever after. But in this case, we have tried to achieve this objective by making the life of the existing taxpayer miserable and more difficult, by even at the stake of exports to Pakistan, at the stake of employment opportunities in Pakistan. I believe that this needs to be relooked into. The industry is of the firm opinion that if we want to see the employment is generated in this country, one must not forget that 70% population of this country is 25 years and below age. We need to give them employment. Or this terrorism, extremism, I believe they are all out of the empty stomach, and we must give them jobs. And government cannot give any jobs. It is the private sector which can only give jobs, and private sector will only give jobs when there is an adequate return on the capital. We must not forget that world has become a global village. This kind of this funds can always, they can always drain out, and we must understand that by giving this kind of incentives, we are asking the investors to invest in a country where there are so many problems, where the brand made in Pakistan is a problem, where logo made in Pakistan is not acceptable, where our marketing and our personal contacts are working, and whatever we exported this year, 20 billion, I think all marks to the industrialists and exporters of this country that they've done well under the circumstances. So instead of protecting them, instead of giving them some incentives, instead of bringing them at a level of regional competitors, we demand market access. We demand zero duty access into the European Union, which is available to Bangladesh, which without growing a single kg of cotton is exporting $11 billion, and we have stuck up at about 10.5 billion. Isn't that shame for Pakistan? I believe that we can do. I believe that we are resilient people. We can do if proper policies and conducive atmosphere and enabling atmosphere is provided to the investors in Pakistan, I think we can double our exports. Our capacities are underutilized. We can always double our export provided that law and order situation little improves, infrastructure is brought into the system, and then the taxation system is brought at par with what our competitors are having. Then we should have incentives what our competitors are getting. If these things are provided, I tell you, we have got all the capabilities and capacity to see that Pakistan attains a place which we all want to look at, a prosperous, happy Pakistan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Motiwala, for your aggressively interesting presentation as always. Now it's time for question and answer session. Can I see Mr. Moiz, our Executive Director? Oh yes. Just couple of minutes for Mr. Moiz. He wants to make an announcement regarding endowment fund. Meanwhile, we'll set the stage for the question and answer session.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. We have this endowment fund which we started in 2007. This is for the deserving students. We would like you all and through your organization to participate and be partner in it. More than money, what we are looking for young chartered accountants to participate with us, because what we are looking to do is help these deserving young people to be guided by those who have qualified in recent times and take them to the qualification. Your help will be very important to us for the future of this profession, and contact details are on this brochure. Please come forward and help us. Thank you very much.
Now I will request all the speakers plus Chief Guest Mr. Irfan Nadeem to please come to the stage, and our Chairman SRC Mr. Najmul Hussain, please. I believe the mics are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, I would request you to please introduce yourself first and come up with brief questions, and please avoid giving your observations. However, we will be accepting and appreciating good suggestion and recommendation, because still the budget is in the proposal stage, and we look forward to send some good recommendations to the board. All right. Mr. Saifuddin with the first question.
My question is to Mr. Ibrahim Sidar. And एक question Zubair Motiwala.
Yeah, it's on.
My question is to Wadi Mr.
I would suggest only one question, please.
Okay.
Because you normally ask 3-4 questions.
I'll give 3 questions. I'll select one. Mr. Zubair Motiwala has referred to this new condition in Section 23 of the Sales Tax Act, requiring the submission of CNIC and national tax number. Will that not promote the unorganized sector? Because they very rightly observe that organized sector, if organized sector is compelled to collect this from the customer to badsha hota, so he'll go to unorganized sector. Can we not find or suggest a better way of tapping that sector which is not paying sales tax? Thank you.
सवाल बेसिकली सीट लिस्ट का, अगर आप पहले जवाब दे दें उसका। सवाल सेल टैक्स का है, अगर आपके तो मैं जवाब दे दूँ। देखिए ये रिक्वायरमेंट जो अभी आई है वो ये आई है कि CNIC हो या NTN नंबर हो। अब आपने कहा कंज्यूमर बादशाह है, तो बात तो दुरुस्त है, पर कितने बादशाह होंगे इस मुल्क में? ज़्यादा बादशाह नहीं हो गए, बट सवाल ये है कि कोई ना कोई डॉक्यूमेंटेशन का स्टार्टिंग तो होगा ना। बट इसमें जो सवाल मेरे इरफान साहब से कि अगर सपोज करें, मेरा सवाल ना है, पुटिंग द क्वेश्चन टू इरफान साहब, सपोज करें वो नहीं देता तो सेल तो मैं कर दूंगा उसको, तो उसका नतीजा क्या होगा फिर? इरफान साहब ये सवाल ये पैदा होगा, सपोज करें वो CNIC नहीं देता और NTN नंबर देता, मैं सेल तो मैंने कर दी है, अब उस पे मेरे हिसाब से सिर्फ पेनल्टी रह सकती है और कोई इसका कॉन्सिक्वेंस नहीं है।
जी उसी के लिए तो हमने क्रिएट किया ना इंटेलिजेंस और इन्वेस्टिगेशन, इस पे एतराज़ कर रहा है जुबैर कि वील हैव सम इंटेलिजेंस गैदरिंग ऑन दिस थिंग। बट बेसिकली साथ में इनकम टैक्स में आपने देखा होगा, वी हैव आल्सो गिवन इंसेंटिव टू दोज पीपल हु आर मेकिंग सेल्स टू people having CNIC or the sale tax number. We are going to give a rebate to that. Unfortunately, nobody has touched this topic. That while you must have, I missed that part. While we have been aggressively criticized for doing things, we have also done this thing by giving, acknowledging that if you make sales to people who are registered, you get a rebate.
One more request, one question per participant, please.
Can I just give a brief input on that? I think the point which is being made by Zubair and maybe a little relevant to look at is that the department as a whole should be playing the role of broadening the tax base. There is already a position or a role available in terms of the withholding agent situation for the business people. They are acting as the withholding agent for the government anyway. Now, in order to get more people in the net, lesser burden should be placed on the existing business, and the more work should be extended by using the hours of the department to go after those people who are not in the net. That, I think, is the point which is being made.
Yeah, next question, Mr. Khalid Rahman.
My name is Khalid Rahman from Pakistan Petroleum. I think quite a few of us have been affected on the internally displaced person taxation, and we were hoping that APR will issue clarifications on that immediately. It has been a very unfair initiative, and that has to be addressed on an immediate basis, because that is really hurting the entire salaried community. As we've seen in the past, and we are seeing it again, that the taxed are being taxed more. We have again and again recommended from OICCI, another forum, that you should be increasing the tax base, and there are no initiatives taken in terms of the increase on the tax base. I'm sorry, I just have to make, that was my question and observation on the subsidies. The government should really be looking towards value addition and not through subsidizing. I think the subsidy concept and the culture has destroyed the whole economic system. So, Mr. Motiwala, I do appreciate the cost of doing business is higher, but that is the cost of doing business, and we have to be competitive. We should not be bleating with the intercircular corporate debt, as we've seen now, which is really will drain the economy in totality. We have an intercircular debt of 200 billion against a total budget of 1.3 trillion. So you can understand the sort of problems that this economy is suffering and is facing because of these heavy subsidies. So I would request that the subsidies concept should be taken away. We should be looking towards value addition and providing more to this economy rather than looking after our interests. Thank you very much.
Can I just comment on this? What is tariff, by the way? Tariff is what the cost of the energy is. And let me tell you that we have to be, in order to become competitive in the world market, you have to be at par with the players in the region. And in order to become so, you have to be competitive in every respect, not only in the sale price, but also in terms of inputs. When your inputs are higher, you can't be competitive in the world market. And what I said, the subsidies, I also said one more thing which I believe you didn't listen. That was that there is a 38% theft. What I said is that when you are going for this kind of a slash in the subsidy, it's a right thing, subsidy should not be there. But also, the actual cost should be passed on to the people who are consuming. Now, you have to come up with an idea where you can minimize the theft, which is internationally is 10 to 11%, 12%, and then come up with this subsidy phasing out.
Yeah, Mr. Taif Ali.
Can I just answer this question of Khalid? I think he's a candidate for the SCC also. Khalid? Because up till now I'm saying, okay, just a minute. Just a minute, Khalid. Regarding the tax on bonus, that has been discussed yesterday and today at the Senate Standing Committee, and I think we might be reviewing it to the extent that it would be applicable from the year 2010. So we cannot give a clarification because this is part of the bill and it can only come when the amendment is presented to the National Assembly. Thank you.
Correct, correct.
Excuse me, please avoid.
Can I answer the other part, Khalid Sahab? On the circular debt, I was trying to mention one very important thing. Do you know why the circular debt has started? Who has not paid the WAPDA bill? The FATA has not paid WAPDA bill since 1947. And the accumulated bill of FATA since 1947 is 124 billion rupees. This is why the circular debt has started. So we have to take now decisions. The question is, we are trying to hide the facts rather than taking the decision. This is actually the original WAPDA default is starting from the FATA unpaid bill. That is why WAPDA is not receiving money, and then the circular debts go down the deep line. But what the government has done this time, they are trying to go down in the market or open market on TFC. Whether they do it or not is another issue. But what I am trying to say, no, let me complete it, please. What I am trying to say, the issues have been brought to the surface. We should know the facts, and then to take a decision right or wrong is another issue.
I think we should move on to the next question because we have to finish the program.
My name is Tahir Khalik. I am chairman of All Pakistan Consumer Products Distributors Association. I'd like to make a small comment on the CNIC or NTN number thing. It's not practical. See, our members, like my own company, is selling to more than 50,000 retailers. And some of these retailers we are servicing twice a week, some of them we are servicing thrice a week, some of them we are servicing once a fortnight, and so on and so forth. Now, we are making sales to retailers, more than 5,000 retailers, just one company, every day. It's not practical that we take CNICs or NTN numbers. Our salesmen are going door to door from city to city. It's just not practical, it's not possible, they will never give it. And we cannot rely on that information also. So you have to review this because there is no practicality in this.
All right, thank you.
I have other questions, but since Mr. Irfan Nadeem has restricted,
imposed ban.
Each one.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Another question from right side. Mr. Noor, please.
My name is Noor Mohammed. My question is to Mr. Irfan. Bit louder. E-filing of. My name is Noor Mohammed. My question is to Ibrahim. E-filing of return statement in return of those who are drawing salary more than 500,000. सवाल ये है सर कि लास्ट ईयर भी ई-फाइलिंग शुरू हुई, इनकम टैक्स के जो कंपनीज के रिटर्न थे उनमें भी इतने प्रॉब्लम्स हुए थे कि आखिरी वक्त तक जाम हो जाता था कंप्यूटर और बिल्कुल परेशानी होती थी। खासतौर से मल्टीनेशनल कंपनी में जिनकी 300-400-500 गाड़ियाँ हैं, उनके हर एक के टैक्सेस को इंडिविजुअली रिटर्न के अंदर जो है ना अनेक्चर में फाइल करना पड़ा। तो एक अनोमली तो ये थी। अब ये जो ई-फाइलिंग ऑफ स्टेटमेंट्स हैं रिटर्न के साथ, ये अभी मेरा ख्याल से वहाँ पर वेबसाइट पर नहीं है। तो हर साल ये प्रॉब्लम होता है और जब लास्ट डे ऑफ फाइलिंग ऑफ रिटर्न आती है तब जाके अमेंडमेंट्स आते हैं। तो या तो इरफान नदीम साहब से गुजारिश है कि ई फाइलिंग जो है उसको बेहतर बनाया जाए। नंबर 2 ये है कि सवाल मेरा सर ये है कि क्या ये कंपलसरी है ई फाइलिंग? नंबर 1 मेरा रिक्वेस्ट ये है कि ऑप्शनल दिया जाए। उसका रीज़न ये है कि हर आदमी जो 5 लाख से ज़्यादा टैक्सेबल इनकम है उसके पास कंप्यूटर की फैसिलिटी नहीं है। उसमें वो लोग शामिल हैं जो टेक्नीशियंस हैं। 5 लाख का मतलब 40,000 रुपये पर मंथ। 40,000 तो आम आदमी आजकल जो टेक्नीशियंस हैं या जो फैक्ट्री में काम करते हैं उनकी तनख्वाहें होती हैं, तो उनके पास तो वो फैक्ट्री में काम कर रहे हैं, ना उनका कंप्यूटर है ना वो फैसिलिटीज़ है, तो वो किस तरह ये फाइल करेंगे?
नहीं, पहले इरफान नदीम साहब फाइल करेंगे, फिर आप सब करेंगे इंशाल्लाह।
मैं तो ऑलरेडी कर।
देखिए इस स्टेज पर सिर्फ मैं ये कह सकता हूँ, एक्सक्यूज मी, कि ये रिक्वायरमेंट आई है तो उम्मीद है कि FBR इससे मुताल्लिक जो प्रोसीजरल तरीक़ेकार है उसको भी स्मूथ करेगा। सवाल ये कि जी हर 5 लाख वाले के पास कंप्यूटर नहीं होगा। गालिबन इस चीज़ को मद्देनज़र रखते हुए गालिबन शायद इस लिमिट के बारे में भी इस साल कोई नज़रसानी की गुंजाइश निकल जाए। मैं नहीं कहता होगा, शायद निकल जाए, लेकिन इस ई फाइलिंग की तरफ बहरहाल हमें जाना है। आपको पता है SECP ने भी अपने जो रेगुलेटरी फॉर्म्स हैं ज़्यादातर ई फाइलिंग की तरफ रग़बत दिलाई है। तो आई थिंक वी हैव टू मूव फॉरवर्ड। अब रहा सवाल 5 लाख ज़्यादा है कम है, योर ओपिनियन अगेंस्ट माई ओपिनियन, इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ सब्जेक्टिव जजमेंट। बाकी इरफान साहब बता सकते हैं।
I'll just add one thing more. देखिए 5 लाख की सैलरी की इनकम पे ई फाइलिंग क्यों की है? इसलिए कि कारोबारी लोगों की तो 5 लाख की आमदनी होती नहीं। आप देखें ना जो रिटर्न वगैरह जाती हैं, वो तो किसी की है ही नहीं आमदनी 5 लाख की, तो सैलरी वाला ही बचता है। ये ना अब खाली आप इससे अंदाज़ा लगा लें कि जो अभी ज़ुबैर मोतीवाला नहीं लंबी ये सारा दिन यही करता है काम, टीवी पे अखबार में यहाँ जाता है। एक्सपोर्ट कितनी एक्सपोर्ट है पाकिस्तान की? 18 बिलियन। आप उस पर लगा लो टैक्स 0.5%, 0.5%, 13-14 बिलियन। ज़्यादा टैक्स नहीं आता। मैं कहता हूँ ले लो, 0 कर दो, मगर आप रिटर्न फाइल कर दो। ये फाइलिंग में मान जाऊँ, सारी डॉक्यूमेंटेशन पूरी कर दो, तमाम जो स्टैट्यूटरी ऑब्लिगेशन यानी ये वो पूरी कर दो, 0 रेट करा दो अपना टैक्स भी आप, मगर डॉक्यूमेंट वो तो करो। वो नहीं। अच्छा, जहाँ तक उसका सवाल है सैलरी की रिटर्न्स का, वी हैव टेकन केयर ऑफ इट, इंशाल्लाह यू नॉट हैव प्रॉब्लम्स। मैं साथ साथ आपको ये बता दूं कि आपकी रिटर्न वेबसाइट पर इंशाल्लाह फर्स्ट वीक ऑफ जुलाई में जो स्टैट्यूटरी डेट है इंशाल्लाह वो ये अवेलेबल होगी। माइनर चेंजेस है उसके अंदर, और वो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ लॉ में गई हुई वो ये नॉर्मल अप्रूवल के लिए।
Thank you. Last 2 questions, please.
My name is Abdul Rashid, representing Switzerland.
Would you please put on the mic? We can't hear you, sir. Put on the mic, please.
तो सर ये आपने ये जो टर्नओवर पे कर दिया है एडवांस टैक्स की पेमेंट क्वार्टर में, ये 2004 तक तो ठीक था। इसके बाद बहुत अच्छे तरह से हम लोग चले गए थे कि जो लास्ट इनकी असेस इनकम थी उसको हम जो क्वार्टरली हिसाब कर रहे थे, मगर फिर आप लोगों ने ये टर्नओवर पे कर दिया। अब जिनकी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी नहीं हो रही है, तो मुझे ये बताएं कि वो तो फिर इसका मतलब ये कि टर्नओवर के हिसाब से ज़्यादा पेमेंट करेंगे, फिर अननेसेसरी फंड्स हमारे ब्लॉक हो जाएंगे, फिर वो रिफंड में चक्कर में जाते हैं, रिफंड मिलते नहीं है। तो इसको ज़रा कंसीडर किया जाए कि वो पुराना सिस्टम वो सही था। दैट वाज ए गुड इम्प्रूवमेंट इन 2004 जो इंट्रोड्यूस की गई थी।
ठीक सब बात समझ आ गई, बात समझ आ गई। देयर इज अ प्रोविजन टू फाइल एन एस्टिमेट ऑल्सो, बट यू नीड टू बी केयरफुल व्हेन यू फाइल एन एस्टिमेट। शुड योर एस्टिमेट फॉल शॉर्ट बाय probably what 80%, then you are exposed to penalty as well. This provision continues to be there.
Last question, please.
My name is Arshad. I'm from Megro Polymer. I've got 2 questions related to the minimum and maximum tax. For a company which is making tax losses, and so the minimum tax is 0.5% of the turnover. But in certain cases, when the raw materials are imported and the 4% income tax that is paid at the import stage, that has now been termed as minimum tax. So in certain cases, the minimum tax would become more than 0.5% of the turnover. So I think confirmed.
I think I amplified these 2 provisions in great detail. Time does not permit me at this hour of the day to repeat again. But you are right in your assessment that you've got 2 minimum taxes going on parallel.
Another question is related to the exports. Now, since export deduction on collection of export has become maximum tax, again for an organization which is making losses.
I'll not comment on that because I have not seen the text of the amendment. I've only read in the paper that this minimum tax be read as maximum.
So in that,
until we read the text of the amendment itself, I'm not in a position to comment.
Because since it's termed as maximum, so there can be a situation where minimum tax can be lower than 0.5% of turnover if the collection 1% collection on export is lower than 0.5.
बैठ जाए, आप बैठ जाए. देखिए मैक्सिमम टैक्स का कहीं पे लॉ में जिक्र नहीं है ना, अखबार की रिपोर्ट है, तो नो कमेंट्स शुड बी रिक्वायर्ड. बाकी जहाँ तक मिनिमम टैक्स का सवाल है, आई वुड लाइक टू एक्नॉलेज इन द एंटायर क्राउड that this is the brainchild of Mr. Shabbar Zaidi.
Shabbar, what have you done to us?
What I done? I am a firm believer whether so on exporter like it or not.
Sir, button chhod dein Shabbar sir.
I want to confirm that whether exporters are like or not, I am totally against presumptive tax regimes. Whether it be exporter or importer, everybody has to compute his income. Then after computing the income, you can give him 100% rebate. You can give 100% rebate, but I am not going to support anywhere where you say I will not compute my income. Everybody has to compute his income. Everybody has to keep books of accounts, and then you compute your income may be 100, 1000, whatever it is, then you can have 100% rebate. In India, export is zero rated. But there is no concept that this is presumed income. This is presumed income. So I totally acknowledge this thing. This is my discussion with Irfan Nadeem. I said yes. They should all document and then they should go for 0 rate, 1% rate, whatever the rate is. But this concept of no return, no computation income is not neither for importer nor for exporter. This is my view, whether I am right or wrong.
One last question.
ये एक सेकंड, एक पॉइंट पे मैं जरा सा आपको चाहता हूँ before the next question comes in and maybe the last one. I think point raised हुआ था and I wanted to talk about it. बड़ा वैलिड ऑब्जर्वेशन है जिन्होंने भी रेस किया है कि बोनस के केस के ऊपर एक्स्ट्रा जो टैक्स लग रहा है आईडीपी की फॉर्म में, जिस तरह की फॉर्म में, ये एक्चुअली इज़ नॉट समथिंग विच इज़ राइट. कंसेप्चुअली भी सही नहीं है, वैसे भी सही नहीं है. यू आर ऑलरेडी चार्जिंग 5% ऑफ द इनकम ओवर $1 million एज ए 5% ऑफ द टैक्स एज ए आईडीपी चार्ज. दैट शुड बी एप्लीकेबल टू एवरीवन. अगर वो आपने लगाना है वो आप सब पे लगा दें. लेकिन बोनस का ये कॉन्सेप्ट जो बारो किया गया है यूएस से, वो बहुत डिसिमिलर सिनेरियो से बारो किया गया है. वहाँ सिचुएशन ये थी कि जो कंपनीज को लिक्विडिटी को फंड कर रही है गवर्नमेंट और वो अब एग्जीक्यूटिव्स को बिलियंस दे रहे हैं, तो उसको 90% पे टैक्स किया गया है. दैट्स बीइंग टैक्स्ड एट 90. दैट्स अ टोटली डिफरेंट बॉल गेम ऑल टुगेदर. दैट्स टोटली डिफरेंट थिंग एंड इन माय ओपिनियन दिस इज रॉन्ग एंड इट शुड नॉट हैपन.
Okay. The last question, gentlemen.
I only hope that this has not come from Shabbar.
My name is Ashan.
Okay, please.
My question is to Mr. Shabbar Zaidi Saab. Banks have been brought into the VAT mode services. Accordingly, they will be allowed the input adjustment against the FED under the sales tax mode. Whether section 8B of the sales tax act, which places restrictions on the claim of the input tax up to the 90% of the output tax, as well as claim of input tax on fixed assets over the 12 months. Whether these restrictions will be placed on the banks while claiming the input tax against FED?
There is no exact clarification how the VAT mode on the banking services will work, but I presume they will adopt all the regulations of the Sales Tax Act. So by virtue of that, the VAT mode of federal excise means that federal excise input is adjustable against output of sales tax as well as federal excise duty. So if the sales tax law is adopted in that sense, there is a 90% concept, and this concept of what you are saying will also apply in this case. But in the case of the bank, there is another problem, that the banks do not issue invoices, and for the person who is receiving the service, he needs an invoice. So that has to be decided whether when I will be rendering services by a bank, so then somebody want to claim input on the services VAT, then he wants to adjust it against his output tax. So there has to be a mechanism developed for this, how to claim input tax by the person who is paying for services. Yes, both of your questions are correct, and I feel 90% concept will apply here. Yes.
Thank you very much. Now that
देखिए वही मैंने कहा ना, उनका तो और जगह मसला वो भी है ना, वो मसला तो अपनी जगह खड़ा है ना, जो टेक्सटाइल वाले और जगह इनपुट दे रहे हैं वो रिफंड लेते हैं ना जाके, अब वो ये भी ऐड हो जाएगा उसके अंदर। नहीं देखिए मैंने कहा ना कि वो ये तो वैट मोड में आ गया, तो टेक्निकली स्पीकिंग इज द इनपुट टैक्स इन ऑल सेंसेस, इन ऑल सेंसेस। आई डोंट नो द एग्जैक्ट मैकेनिज्म जो लॉ ड्राफ्ट होगा, बट कॉन्सेप्चुअली इट इज इन वैट मोड। वैट मोड मीन्स दैट इट इज एडजस्टेबल अगेंस्ट आउटपुट टैक्स, and since textile is zero rated, so if it is paid in VAT mode, it is refundable to the person who has paid it tax. This is my view. जी सर वो तो एक प्रोसीजर इश्यू है सर, वो आप you can discuss later on.
I request the members to send the questions through email, and I am sure the speakers will be more than pleased to reply. Now I would request our chief guest, Mr. Irfan Nadeem, to kindly sum up today's session with his remarks.
Assalamu alaikum. I'll just take a few minutes because even I'm tired just like you. I took a flight in the evening, reached here at about 7, and I'm going back again at night because there's a meeting of the standing committee. Mr. Mahmood Razak, Chairman, Southern Regional Committee of the ICAM, respected speakers, Mr. Ibrahim Sadat, Mr. Masood Naqvi, Mr. Zubair Motiwala, and Mr. Shabar Zaidi.